everybody, I'm Dom, and this is Dom-Ination. And welcome back to Storieview, the part of the show where I take a video game and review only one aspect of it, the story. With that being said, let's take a look at a game that until recently belonged to the expanded universe of one of the most popular things in pop culture, Star Wars. Who doesn't love Star Wars? Well, me when I was a kid, and pretty much anyone whose only experience with it was the prequels, but that's for another day. The original Star Wars trilogy is just one of those trilogies that's just loved by everyone. Then the prequels came out and almost completely buys the name of Star Wars, but then again, that's another day for it. And with anything that's really popular, there's been a ridiculously sized expanded universe, which recently was declared non-canon, that pretty much covered every other media except movies. Books, comics, TV shows, and of course, video games. Holy crap, does Star Wars have a lot of video games under its belt. And if you want to know just how many, go check out JonTron's Starcade series. It's actually pretty good. And these games over the years have ranged from great to maybe we should have actually tested the game before releasing it. And the game whose story we're looking at today kind of falls into the category for most people. And that game is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed is a cool game because it actually manages to tie the prequel trilogy together with the original trilogy. At least it did before the sequel came out, but that piece of crap is again being saved for another day. Sheesh, I got a lot of stuff to explain later, don't I? The gameplay of it was that of a hack and slash game, similar to that of the God of War series, allowing you to be creative with how do you dispose of your enemies before you. But that's not what we're looking at today. We're looking at story. So, how is the story? Well, let's find out. This is Storieview of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. As I said before, Force Unleashed ties together the prequels and the originals, being set between episodes 3 and 4. It starts out with a prologue of Darth Vader on a mission to kill one of the Jedi who had escaped Order 66, which was an order made by the Emperor to the clones to kill all the Jedi. While on this mission, Vader sees that the Jedi target has a son, kills the target, and says to the son, "Hey, even though this is totally against the rules, I'm going to take you in as my apprentice, okay? Okay, now come along, but shh, it's our little secret." The boy then grows into the young Sith codenamed Starkiller, which by the way was actually supposed to be Luke's last name instead of Skywalker, and was also used as the Death Star-esque battle station in the new Force Awakens, so that's actually kind of cool. Starkiller spends his time hunting the remaining Jedi who escaped Order 66, hoping to achieve his goal, to stand by Vader to defeat the Emperor. And when the moment finally arrives, Vader double-crosses Starkiller, stabbing him in the back and throwing him into outer space. Douche. Months later, Vader re-finds Starkiller and the conversation goes something like this. "Hey, sorry about impaling you through the back and throwing you into outer space." "Yeah, what the crap, man? That friggin' hurt!" "Anyway, we're still gonna kill the Emperor. You in?" "Yeah, dude, what do I gotta do?" "Raise an army of all the people who don't like the Emperor." "Okay, easy enough." "Okay, get started. Bye!" So then Starkiller and pilot Juno Eclipse go around recruiting the army of Emperor haters, including one of the Jedi targets from earlier, named General Ron Koda, Bail Organa, and Princess Leia. They meet to start the rebellion. But Vader crashes the party, capturing the newly formed Rebel Alliance. Him and Starkiller's conversation then comes down to, "Thanks for the easy info, pal." "Dude, what the crap, man? You said you wouldn't touch them." "Yes, well, I'm a liar, pants on fire. It's part of being a Sith." So Starkiller decides to save the Alliance by traveling to the construction site of the first Death Star. There he bests his master, fights the Emperor, and sacrifices his life for the Rebel Alliance. That is if you play the good ending. If you play the bad ending, you not only just best Darth Vader a first time, you fight him a second time, and then basically become Darth Vader 2.0. The story ends with the Alliance officially being formed on Kashyyyk. So as always, let's get my complaints out of the way. Story-wise, I actually don't really have that many complaints. I guess my biggest complaint would be that being a video game, the story is a bit dragged out. In order to make you feel like you're on the mission, you start from Starkiller's landing spot on whatever planet he's on, and make your way over to where you need to go. Which is cool for a video game, but I think for telling a story, it drags the narrative out of a little bit. This may be nitpicking, but I feel like the story could have been told a lot better as something than a game. In fact, there actually is a novelization for this game, however, I haven't really read it, so I can't recommend it as a way to tell the story. Other than that, I don't really have anything bad to say about it, so let's look at the good stuff, starting out with the characters. I really like these characters. Starkiller is a good protagonist with a very interesting character growth. We see him start out as a Sith, but gradually he becomes a Jedi, and it's cool to see how on his mission to recruit the Alliance, he actually starts to feel like he's one of them to the point where he's willing to defy his master to do what's right. Yeah, it's cheesy, yeah, it's cliched, but some cliches work in certain contexts. And this cliche works well in the Star Wars universe and with this character. Not only that, but he's a likable character too. Juno Eclipse is also a likable character. In a way, she's much like Starkiller. All her life, she's been taking orders, and when she's finally set free, she doesn't really have any idea of what to do and where to go. Not only that, even when she was taking orders as an Imperial pilot, she always had a moral center. And yeah, spoilers, the two end up falling in love with each other, but I never really found the relationship that interesting. It was just the standard, it's just business, but later it becomes personal type of romance. However, I never really found it that interesting because they only shared really, what, 1, 2 scenes maybe together that made you go, yeah, they're a thing. But as individual characters, I think they're good. The other characters are good, but not great, with the exception of Darth Vader. I love this game's portrayal of Darth Vader. It showed us a side of the character that we never really saw before, the Mentor. And yeah, Anakin in the Clone Wars doesn't really count because he wasn't actually Darth Vader, he was Anakin. No, I'm talking about Darth Vader here. Sure, we saw him taunting Luke in both Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi in a way that makes him seem instructive, but we never really saw him as a mentor figure before, because he was the apprentice. I also like how they played with the deception of his character and just how far he's willing to go and what he's willing to do to cover up a secret. So, yeah, good characters, what else? Well, the game also has good story arcs too. I particularly like the story arc with Maris Brood, who was Jedi Master Shaak Ti's apprentice who got corrupted and turned to the dark side. Although, let's be honest, with a design like this and a name like that, it's no wonder she flipped sides. I also liked Proxy the Droid's story arc, where it said that his primary programming is to kill Starkiller. And we see him attempt this in many times throughout the games, and it all comes down to one final battle at the end. And during that final battle, the primary programming gets destroyed. There are other good story arcs, but again, that could really take up a video on its own. So what else was good? I thought the story was written well, with one of my favorite lines of dialogue being when Starkiller defeated Maris Brood.
Really think she's free? She'll carry the memories of what she's done here, forever.
Also, I like how this game gave an origin story to the Rebel Alliance, which is something that I thought was weird that Episode 3 never showed. Yeah, it showed how all the Jedi died, as well as the forming of the Empire, the building of the Death Star, Darth Vader turning evil, Luke and Leia being separated, and hell, it even shows how C-3PO didn't even remember the events of the prequels and the originals. But it didn't show how the Rebel Alliance was being formed, which is weird because it's one of the most important aspects of the original trilogy. But we get to see it formed here, and quite cleverly too. They tell it as a trick by Darth Vader to see who was against the Empire and kill them, but it ultimately backfired, and we all know that later down the road, it caused the downfall of the Empire. That actually put some irony in the entire plot, and that's always welcomed. Other than that, there wasn't really much else to talk about as far as the game's story. The story was good, the characters were good, the acting is good. In fact, I think story-wise, this is better than all 3 prequels combined! And the gameplay was a lot of fun too, so if you have the chance to pick it up, pick it up. Sure, it's a bit repetitive, but there are ways of softening that blow. And again, I haven't read the novelization, so again, I can't recommend it as a good way to experience the story. And if you don't want to play the game, I totally understand. But if you do want to experience the story somehow, go on YouTube and watch either the cutscene compilation, or one of those game-made movies where it combines cutscenes and parts of gameplay to tell a better-paced story. It's that good that it's worth it. It's actually the first time since Return of the Jedi that a Star Wars story was worth experiencing. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is a perfect excuse to revisit that galaxy far, far away. And that ends today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any ideas of stuff you want to see me do in the future, just comment below to let me know. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, favorite it if you loved it, and subscribe to Dom-Ination if you want more of it. Once again, I'm Dom, and this was Dom-Ination. See you guys next time!